Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. All right, let's talk some Saints. They're back in the state of Louisiana, back in the 504. They'll be at Yulman Stadium uptown tonight for a practice the fans can attend. Sharif Ishaq can attend it as well, and my guess is he probably will. He's joining us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharif, how we doing?
Doing a little bit better since that game Sunday, which
Yeah?
I thought was better played than the game week before that.
It's still a tough watch. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, it's tough for me to get through that whole deal. I feel as though there are so many players out there that are going to get cut that it's hard for me to stay locked in.
Yeah, but there are some players who are going to make the team because, they continue to show they can play in these preseason games. But then there are some of those guys who need to be on the team that may not be on the team whenever the 53-man roster comes around. I think the 27th, next Wednesday, or Thursday. I might be next Wednesday, yeah. So, I mean, there's the good and the bad when it comes to preseason. When it gets into that fourth quarter, man, it gets kind of unwatchable. I know
it gets because not only are the guys are out there that aren't going to make the team, but the reason they're not going to make the team is because they're not as good. It's just not as good a level of football to watch, quite frankly. But we got the Saints backup quarterbacks who are out there, and you're trying to evaluate that a little bit as well. Let's talk running back, Sharif. We know Kamara is, when he gets healthy, is going to be the guy. But what does your gut tell you, and what do your eyes tell you about what you've seen from the rest of the crew there about who's going to be backing him up, who's going to make the team, who's going to be on the outside looking in?
Well, we'll start with the guys who are going to, I think, make the team. We're going to go Alvin, of course, Jamal Williams, and Taysom Hill at this point, the way Taysom Hill played in that game the other night. But he's going to be moving around the entire offensive board. I would say, Jordan Mims is making a pretty good case for himself. He ran the ball really well the other night against the 49ers. Albeit against, second, third-string defenders, but you got to still run the ball against those guys. Kendre Miller's it's gonna be tough for him to make the team at this point. I mean, I know that's giving up on a second-round pick. They could have drafted Tyjae Spears, and everyone could have been happy. And Tyjae's, having a good young career up to this point with the Titans. But you can't make the team from the training room, as Dennis Allen says. This guy has just not been healthy. He has been on the sideline since day one of training camp practice. That it just can't happen. I mean, it was a poorly invested second-round pick. We can say that, Jeff Ireland and crew missed. They needed that guy to be on the field, and they just completely missed on that pick. And
I mean, if I could take you back to that day when you were there in Irvine and they were in helmets and T-shirts, basically, and he didn't get through one drill, and I would have told you that 3.5 weeks later he still hasn't attended one practice. I mean, that's a little shocking to me.
It's absolutely shocking, and it's one of the things that Dennis Allen has been, quite frankly, pissed off about. I mean, he's, said it, point blank. He's just not happy. He's unhappy about the him being on the sideline and not being available for practice. He's not happy. He said it a few times. You can't make my team from the training room and on the sideline, and he has a right to be mad for him not being in shape or ready to go for training camp. I mean, you got hurt a few minutes into practice, Hunt.
Yeah.
He literally got hurt a few minutes into practice, and everyone's just like, who's watching practice, the media, like, oh, well, here we go again, shaking their head, and like, you gotta take care of your body. I mean, plain and simple.
A lot of guys that are in the training room right now for New Orleans. Is there one or two that's got you a little more concerned as time progresses?
Just Marshawn Lattimore, man. He's dealt with these soft tissue injuries at times throughout his career. Hip flexor, never easy to come back from a hip flexor, but I wouldn't be worried about him not being ready. The problem is staying, healthy, avoiding injuries. The last few seasons, he's, dealt with some injuries, and some of them unlucky when you're dealing with the kidney, and that was a tough one that cost him 10 games. But he's got to stay healthy. I mean, in order for the Saints secondary to continue clicking at all on all cylinders. I'm not worried about McKinstry. I think he should be ready for the start of the season against the Panthers. Talese Fuaga, Alvin Kamara, they should be good to go. I'm not really concerned about any of the other guys like Pete Werner. I think most of these guys and their injuries should be ready to go once the season, kicks off.
That's the hope. It's a lot, but they're just not
It's,
use air quotes,
staying healthy,
significant.
Hunt.
Yeah.
It's just staying healthy. It's not like, they'll be ready. Will they stay ready and avoid, being injured in a 17-game season, in a very critical season for Dennis Allen?
How's Derek Carr looked? Most of what we're talking about here is practice. I don't put too much stock into what goes on in the game, but how do you feel about the Saints starting quarterback?
I think you're seeing some progress in a system that I think it's a little bit more difficult than just saying, all right, why are they not executing it, at a high level? I think there's a lot of moving pieces, emotions. You got a lot of different players trying to, come together as a group. I think he's doing okay. I think he is progressing. But the thing that bothers me sometimes are his throws. They're a little behind, a little late, and just maybe not, on the side, on time with some of his receivers and tight ends. It's just like, is that going to take time? And is it going to be too late if it's into the season before they finally click? Because that was the problem last year. He became good in the final 5 games of the season instead of, the first 5 in the middle of the season. This team just has to find a way to make sure that Derek Carr is efficient and staying upright and healthy. I think if you keep him upright and healthy, he should be just fine. He should be kind of like towards the back end of the season, Derek Carr, instead of the middle of the season, Derek Carr. But he's doing okay. And it's so hard to tell, Hunt, until you have all your pieces out there in the field. And how long is it going to take for that offense to click with all his pieces out there?
I think the defense is going to be pretty good. Do you?
I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. That defensive line has been ferocious throughout the entire camp. They've done it in the 2 preseason games. I know it's preseason games, but just doing it in camp where it's a little bit tougher in camp because they're actually showing something in plays and not being so vanilla on offense. So yeah, I'm really, really quite happy with where the defense is. The one guy who deserves to get a lot of credit and maybe doesn't is Alontae Taylor, who's continuing to say, hey, I got to show them that I can play whether it's slot or on the outside, and I have to show them I can get that contract, and he's doing that. He's showing it in camp, and he's showing it in these preseason games. He's becoming almost like a young leader for this team, while the other cornerbacks are sitting there out injured, and Paul Adebo and Marshawn Lattimore.
What kind of crowd do you expect at Yulman tonight?
So it's a night practice, and it's not as hot outside right now, and I'm sure it'll be a little bit cooler. I expect a nice crowd. In 2019, I think they got close to 15,000, and certainly a different era. Drew Brees and Sean Payton aren't there. I'll say 7,000-8,000. How about that?
That'd be pretty good. Do you expect to see anything significant in the third preseason game, or is this pack it up and get ready for the regular season?
Look, man, I don't know if I'm ready to pack it up with the offense. I think I'd
be shocked if they sent him back out there. I'd be shocked.
I understand the injury thing, and they played him a lot this past week, but I wouldn't mind seeing them run it one more series, like 1 or 2 more series with the offense, because they are installing a new offense, and I understand you're being vanilla, but show it in a game one more time. Why not? You're going to have 2 weeks off before your first real game. At least you get, got to get your starters out there at home, give them a series or 2. They're going to keep it vanilla and basic anyway.
We shall see. Enjoy Uptown tonight, and we'll talk next week. Thanks, Sharif.
All right, Hunt.
Sharif Ishaq, WDSU, down there in New Orleans, covering the New Orleans Saints. They'll be on the practice field at Yulman tonight, later on in the Superdome, where fans can come. You got to buy tickets, though, so if you do want to go watch the Saints tonight or you want to go see them this weekend, you got to get tickets. They're free, but you got to get them to bring it in and to watch the team practice, so be aware of that. If you want to learn how to do that, go to LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson's got a piece up there to tell you how to get your Saints tickets and get ready to go to the practices this week. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.